Hello everybody, it's Andrew here from Central Illinois Weather. Today we're tracking down a regional severe weather outbreak with a few long-lived intense tornadoes, damaging wind gusts, and very large hail as possibilities. So let's look into the SPC's outlook. So, in the outlook, they have a moderate risk of severe weather in places like northeast Texas, northwest Louisiana, southwest Arkansas, and southeast Oklahoma. The main populated areas that are in this are Shreveport, Louisiana, Mesquite, Texas, Tyler, Texas, Longview, Texas, and Bossier City, Louisiana, along with, oh, wait, no, we already said Shreveport. The 45 significant wind also includes all those same areas in the moderate risk, and we also have Dallas, Texas, Memphis, Tennessee, or that's the wrong one. We have Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Arlington, Texas, Plano, Texas, and Garland, Texas within your significant wind risk. The tornado risk is probably going to be the main highlight for today. We have a 15 sig along the whole moderate risk area with a 10% significant risk, including places like Dallas, Memphis, Fort Worth, Arlington, Plano, Greenville in Mississippi, Jackson in Mississippi, Little Rock, Arkansas, and Memphis, Tennessee metro. So we have a lot of areas to talk about with that, and then our hail outlook is also significant for today with a 30% hatched region. There's a 30% hatched region for places like Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, Plano, Garland, Texas, also nearing Shreveport, Louisiana, and then also up for Texarkana and Idabel/Paris, Texas area. And this goes all the way back through the dry line where Austin, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Arlington, Texas, Plano, Texas, and Abilene, Texas, and Waco, Texas are all in that significant hail risk. So let's talk about it here. Let's first look at surface observations from right now. I don't know why that's coming up, but okay. So let's go look at some surface observations that we are looking at right now. That's observed soundings. We can actually look at the 12Z data, so why don't we do that? Here's our sounding out of Dallas-Fort Worth, and as we can see here, we have a significant EML. This is expected to erode. Along with that, we're expected to get higher temperatures and higher dew points. This place will likely have anywhere between 2,000 and 3,000 K per later today, so that's going to be quite interesting to see. We also have an observed sounding out of Oklahoma City. We're expecting some unstable air to come up in Oklahoma City, but not too much. Let's look at Shreveport sounding. They have a cap inversion right now, but it's expected to erode throughout the day. Little Rock, same thing. In Jackson, Mississippi, doesn't really have much of an inversion right now, but the thermal profile is pretty weak with not really steep lapse rates. As you can see, the Dallas-Fort Worth sounding has very steep lapse rates aloft, with even a good amount of instability between 10 to 11 kilometers and about 3 kilometers right now. So mid-level lapse rates of 7 to 8 Celsius per kilometer there, with a most unstable CAPE of 1,500 joules per kilogram already. Now let's go look at mesoscale analysis here. Here's our current surface observation map. We can see our warm front is likely placed somewhere in here, and it's got some supercells ongoing there in central Texas that were expected to be elevated. We also have kind of this dry line feature that's currently out here in western Texas that isn't really expected to move much throughout the day. As we go throughout the day, or as we look at our full CONUS sector, let's go look at 500 millibar winds, and we can see our 500 millibar winds. We have a strong, compact, shortwave trough that is about to eject across the region here. There's also a belt of subtropical jet, which is going to fuel the potential for open warm sector supercells across northeast Texas, Louisiana, western Mississippi, and into Arkansas. Currently, we have mixed CAPE across the warm sector of 500 to 1,000 joules per kilogram. As we get toward later this afternoon, we're expecting supercells to initiate at 19Z near Abilene, Texas, with 2,000 mixed CAPE being on the table. Now, let's go into the HRRR. Let's go to South Central United States, and let's go look at what the HRRR has for today. So, here we go. Let's go start it off. We can see these elevated storms kind of move up and out of there. A couple strong storms are possible in Oklahoma/Arkansas today, and we're expecting storm initiation from 12 to 1 o'clock anywhere in western West Central Texas here. Looking at these storms, they start to really intensify as we get along the warm front near Dallas. Here's a profile of Dallas, and that is significant. You have a lot of low-level shear with some low-level backing, and this is going to be a huge hail profile. You can see your winds don't really change much with height. That is favorable for hail, and you can see the thermal profile has 2,000 mixed layer cape. That is significant. HRRR also fires a Renegade supercell there in Louisiana in the open warm sector, which probably won't do much given that surface layer, stable layer. But as we get toward kind of the Dallas area, around 21Z along the warm front, we can see convective profiles are still not too big, but the main risk at first is likely going to be huge hail, as these supercells kind of marvel the warm sector, could get quite messy at times. But yeah, large hail is going to be likely at first. Then we get a convective line to rapidly initiate along the dry line in central Texas, with again profiles ahead of it being favorable for significant wind and damaging wind gusts, and very large hail. Looks like the warm front up in Oklahoma and Arkansas starts to get going with stronger low-level shear profiles noted by this photograph right here. And yeah, that would be favorable for a strong tornado if that storm roots to the surface, which is a possibility. The front of the line, I think we already looked at the sounding, but yeah, the low-level shear keeps improving. Arkansas cell keeps on going throughout the day, and if we get that Arkansas cell, don't be surprised if we get a stronger tornado. This line segment, though, will keep on going to the eastbound, likely be more of a damaging wind and hail producer. HRRR is not really too robust with today. It was a lot more robust earlier. There's a robust profile. That's in northeast Texas ahead of a prefrontal supercell. See, very enlarged photograph with decent thermodynamic profile from about 12 kilometers down to the surface, with surface to 3 kilometer cape of nearly 100 joules per kilogram. And throughout the night, this line kind of wanes. Probably some warm front supercell potential in Arkansas that we can take a look at. Yeah, mainly elevated hailers there. The 700 millibar temps are going to be the main reason why this line keeps on not doing so much. If we look at synoptics, we'll go to 0Z. Mixed layer cape at this point is 2,000 plus joules per kilogram in northeast Texas. We can take a box sounding and look at that. Not very big photographs, but if we go further north along the warm front, photograph size increases. 3 kilometer cape is very high along the cold front there. One of our main limiting factors throughout the daytime is this low-level jet not being too strong. As it gets stronger throughout the night, you can see 500 millibar flow. There's a good amount of it, and storm vectors off the cold front are pretty parallel to maybe perpendicular at times, so we're probably going to get a linear mode off that cold front. Looking at near 0 to 3 kilometer vectors, though, within the QLCS, we'll probably see a significant tornado threat, especially further to the north up in here, as your vectors are more 90 degrees to the line. Further south, the low-level shear might be better, but you have a higher capping inversion, and you also don't have those winds as favorable at 700 millibars for that QLCS. Let's go look at another model. Let's go look at the HREF that ran last night. I wish I could do this video about an hour later, but I can't. See, HREF agreed on a powerful shortwave trough and kind of powering through Texas there, and going into Dixie for the next day and waning down as we get towards 0Z. Let's go into the Central Plains sector, or South Central Plains sector. Let's go look at minimum paintball. Okay, there we go. So we're expecting some warm front activity as a possibility this morning, with large hail, maybe a brief tornado not out of the possibility. Then significant severe storms are expected to erupt between 17 and 20 Zulu time, which is between, I believe that's 11 and 2 p.m. These storms will have a 70% contour on the HREF around Dallas-Fort Worth. So Dallas-Fort Worth could get expanded into the moderate later today. There's also a substantial signal for convection further south, so we could get that enhanced expanded down there as well. And as we get into the middle of the night, this convective signal wanes, as these storms are going to have to deal with a 700 millibar warm layer, which will hinder them significantly. The next day, we don't really have that much of a convective signal for that Dixie Alley risk. I think the main severe risk for the next day is going to be in Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, and Tennessee, as we have more of a convective signal over there. Not really much of a convective signal on most of the cams for down south, as forcing's minimal, and we have a warm layer aloft. Why don't we go look at some of the cams from last night? Let's go look at the ARW, which has the squall line pretty far east. Actually, that supercell is pretty far east, at 1Z, and that's going to favor a strong tornado if we get a profile like that. Let's go look at 23Z. So it's got raging supercells in central Texas terrorizing Dallas if this actually happens. And Waco, Texas. Dallas and Waco are really in the thick of things today. They're probably going to get hail, they're probably going to get wind, and they could even get a chance for strong tornadoes as well. Forecast soundings definitely support that. Let's go look at the NSSL. The NSSL has pretty much the same thing, except further to the north. Again, these profiles significantly favor Dallas-Fort Worth. You have a large low-level photograph, lots of 0 to 3 kilometer instability. So that's really going to help kind of propel things to the next level for this risk. Storms get quite intense in northeast Texas later this afternoon. And you can see this. That's why they get more intense. You have a lot more 0 to 3 kilometer storm relative velocity, helping those mesocyclones mature more. So they get up into southeast Arkansas. You're probably going to be dealing with even more shear. Yep, I guessed it, but the instability levels start to wane some. So that's something to watch. Probably around 1 to 2Z, these storms will start to quiet down a little bit more, and that's what happens. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Please be safe today.